You have not arrived here by accident. You have been summoned by a divine appointment, orchestrated by the very architects of heaven. Right now, a sealed door in your life is beginning to creak open, but the magnitude of the wealth behind it is so great that a single careless word could shatter the foundation of your future. If you do not learn the art of spiritual secrecy today, you risk sabotaging a breakthrough that took years of prayers and private tears to build. In this video, we are diving deep into the sacred discipline of silence, why God demands that you keep your mouth shut when the money starts to flow. You will discover how to transition from a survival mindset to a stewardship frequency, ensuring that your increase becomes a permanent legacy rather than a temporary test you fail. By watching until the end, you will gain the discernment to know who belongs at your table and how to protect your peace from the friction of envy. Before we unlock these mysteries, share an amen in the comments if you are ready to receive and subscribe to join our community of the chosen. Your season of noise is over. Your season of wisdom begins now. Chosen one, you are standing at the precipice of a supernatural shift that the world cannot comprehend. This is not the ordinary provision of man. This is a heaven-sent transfer designed to test the weight of your character before it reveals the fullness of your reward. There is a specific frequency to this season, a rhythmic stillness that demands your total surrender. The word reminds us in Ecclesiastes that there is a time to speak and a time to remain silent. Anointed one, your time for silence has arrived. This silence is not a void, it is a vessel. It is the spiritual maturity required to hold what God is pouring out. I learned this the hard way, watching the very breakthroughs I fasted for crumble because I lacked the restraint to keep them hidden. I celebrated too loudly in rooms that were not designed for my success. I invited opinions into a process that was still forming in the secret place. Heaven is not inviting noise right now. It is calling for discernment. While poverty teaches you how to depend, prosperity will test how you restrain. The urge to explain your elevation is often just a wound seeking validation. But anointed one, divine wealth is not a decoration for your ego. It is an assignment for your soul. Scripture declares in Habakkuk 2:3 that the vision awaits its appointed time. It hastens to the end and will not lie. You are currently standing inside that timing. But understand this truth: seeds grow in the dark, long before they ever face the sun. If you expose the roots before the tree is strong, you invite the winds of envy to topple what God is building. This is the duality of the kingdom. To go high, you must stay low. To receive much, you must say little. Heaven is watching your stewardship before it grants your expansion. God is not against your increase, but he is against the pride that forgets its source. This wealth is meant to fund vision and restore dignity, not to soothe your insecurities. Chosen one, let the silence be your strategy. Let the quiet be your protection. While the world demands a display, heaven is looking for a steward. Stay grounded in the stillness, for the weight of what is coming requires a heart that is anchored in God alone. Anointed one, understand that the atmosphere of your breakthrough is fragile. There is a specific danger in the loud blessing, a trap set for those who mistake a beginning for a finish line. I learned this the hard way, standing in the rubble of opportunities I spoke into existence too early. I watched as the very things I prayed for slipped through my fingers, not because God withdrew his hand, but because I invited too many voices into a sacred conversation. When you celebrate too loudly, you alert the spirits of comparison and envy before your foundation is set. You invite opinions into a blueprint that was only ever meant for you and the Creator. Chosen one, a new blessing is a seed, not a forest. It is a tender thing pulsing with potential but lacking the bark to withstand the storm. In its earliest stage, a seed requires the sanctuary of the dark soil. It needs the silence of the earth to break open and take root. If you dig it up to show the world your progress, you kill the very life you were meant to nurture. It is far easier for the enemy to destroy a seed than it is to topple a tree. Heaven is whispering to you now, do not expose what is still forming. Do not trade your future harvest for the cheap applause of the present. This is the truth of misalignment. When the blessing outruns the character, the result is not peace but pressure. Anointed one, I have seen provision become a prison for those who gained access before they gained discipline. If you are not anchored in humility, the weight of increase will cause you to drift into the treacherous waters of pride. Pride demands a witness. Wisdom demands a result. Heaven is watching to see if you can carry the favor of God in the secret place without needing the validation of the marketplace. The noise of the world is a distraction from the assignment of the Spirit. When you speak too soon, you create unnecessary resistance. You build expectations in others that God never intended you to meet. Chosen one, let your life remain quiet while your roots go deep. Let the work be finished internally before it is seen externally. Prosperity without restraint is merely a high-speed path to destruction. Stay in the silence. Stay in the shadow. Let the blessing mature in the stillness until it is strong enough to stand on its own without your defense. Chosen one, there is a deeper layer to this silence. God is teaching you, and it goes far beyond mere protection. It is about the radical retraining of your nervous system to operate from a place of trust instead of a place of urgency. For too long, lack has ruled your environment. In the season of struggle, everything was loud, the bills were loud, the needs were loud, and the fear was a constant, deafening roar. Anointed one, you have been conditioned to survive in chaos, but heaven is shifting you into a different frequency now. This new frequency does not respond to panic. It responds to order. It does not thrive on adrenaline. It breathes in peace. I remember when provision first began to stabilize in my own life. The silence felt strange, even uncomfortable. When you have spent years justifying your worth through your struggle, abundance feels like a foreign language. But I had to learn that silence is how God transitions you from survival mode into stewardship mode. This is the truth: you cannot manage an empire with the heart of a refugee. Heaven is rewiring your identity, stripping away the old skin of the one who barely made it so you can put on the mantle of the one who is well watered. Anointed one, divine wealth is never meant to soothe your insecurities or heal the wounds of your past. I have watched people spend their blessings trying to buy the respect they felt they lacked, only to find that money cannot touch a scar that only the Spirit can heal. If you feel a burning urge to explain your success to those who doubted you, or to justify your elevation to those who watched you fall, recognize it for what it is, a sign that internal healing is still required. Abundance does not need a narrator. When heaven backs you, explanation becomes unnecessary. Chosen one, God is teaching you to sit with increase without reacting to it emotionally. He is training you to be steady when the numbers climb, just as you were steady when they fell. This is the separation of self-worth from financial status. Your value was never in your bank account, and your identity must not be swallowed by your assets. If your peace rises and falls with the market, you are not yet a master of the resource. The resource is a master of you. Stay in the quiet until your soul is as stable as the promise. Let the stillness settle your heart so that when the floodgates fully open, you do not drown in the surge, but flow with the current of divine order. Anointed one, as the hand of God begins to multiply what is in your care, your discernment must multiply even faster. You are entering a season where your circle must be guarded with a holy jealousy. Understand this clearly: there are people who are deeply comfortable with your struggle, but will be profoundly uneasy with your elevation. This is the truth of the human heart. Your growth confronts the places in them they have refused to heal. When you were down, you were relatable. Now that you are rising, you are a mirror. Silence is your shield against the friction of those who cannot celebrate a harvest they did not help you sow. I had to learn the hard way that not every smile is a sanctuary, and not every question deserves an answer. Chosen one, you must learn to filter access with the precision of a master architect. There is a sacred hierarchy to your life that heaven is now enforcing. Many people may be permitted to see the fruit of your blessing. They see the results, the stability, the peace, but almost no one should be allowed to see the roots. The roots are where your intimacy with God lives. They are where the blueprint of your wealth is buried. If you let too many hands touch the roots, you risk the health of the entire tree. This season is the ultimate loyalty test, a divine sifting of those who stand beside you. Anointed One. It is a painful reality that loyalty does not always survive a change in financial status. Some were loyal to your need, but they cannot remain loyal to your seed. Silence provides you with the essential space to observe without confrontation. It allows you to watch patterns, to see who leans in out of love and who leans in out of appetite. By staying quiet, you allow people to reveal their own hearts without you saying a word. Heaven is using this stillness to show you who you can trust with proximity. Trust is not proven by history alone. It is proven by discernment in the present. Chosen One, do not mistake curiosity for alignment. Just because someone asks about your progress does not mean they have the spiritual capacity to carry the weight of your answer. This is not about arrogance, it is about stewardship. You are the guardian of the peace God has given you. Not everyone is equipped to handle your more without touching it improperly. Stay quiet, stay observant. Let the Holy Spirit be the one who opens the door to your inner court, for only those in alignment can breathe the air of your next level. Anointed One, you must settle this truth deep within your spirit. Money is never neutral. It is a spiritual conductor that carries the current of your heart's intent. In the realm of the spirit, wealth is not a destination of comfort. It is a transfer of responsibility. I have seen many fall because they mistook a divine assignment for a personal reward. They reached for luxury and let go of the hand that led them through the desert. Divine wealth will either draw you into a deeper dependency on the Creator, or it will seduce you into the cold illusion of false independence. Chosen One, heaven is not giving you resources so you can live without God. He is giving them so you can manifest His kingdom with power. I learned this through the refinement of the fire. I realized that the greatest threat to a blessing is not the enemy without, but the pride within that forgets its source. This is why you must keep the anchor of humility firmly cast into the depths of your soul. Do not hide from the memory of the nights you spent counting coins or the prayers you whispered when the cupboards were bare. That memory is not meant to keep you small or tethered to a spirit of poverty. It is meant to keep you grounded in gratitude. Anointed One, the counting of coins was your training ground. It taught you the value of the seed. Now that the harvest is coming, let that gratitude be the weight that keeps your heart from drifting when the winds of fame and fortune blow. As the flow increases, heaven is teaching you the power of strategic boundaries. You are entering a season where your no must become as holy as your yes. Chosen One, true stewardship begins with the courage to decline invitations that do not carry the scent of the Spirit. You will find that some conversations no longer feel clean, and some opportunities no longer feel aligned. This is not arrogance. It is the sharpening of your sensitivity. You do not owe the world an explanation for your absence, nor do you owe an apology for protecting your peace. Abundance without boundaries is merely a slow leak that will eventually leave you empty. God is training you to be a reservoir, not a sieve. You are learning to say no to the good so that you can remain available for the great. This is the truth. Your time, your energy, and your resources are now under a divine mandate. Anointed One, let your silence be your boundary. Let your results be your testimony. When you stop negotiating with the demands of others, you finally begin to walk in the authority of the assignment. Stay focused, stay grounded. Let the wealth serve the vision, and never let the vision be swallowed by the wealth. Anointed One, there is a specific kind of courage required to stand still when you finally have the power to move. We often speak of waiting for the blessing, but the true test of the Chosen One is the ability to wait after the blessing has arrived. This is one of the highest forms of trust known to heaven, to have the resource in your hand, yet keep your feet planted until you receive the instruction on how to use it. I have seen many move too soon, spending the seed before they understood the soil. They mistook the arrival of provision for the permission to act. But you, Chosen One, are being trained in a higher discipline. Silence after the breakthrough is the evidence that you are no longer led by your appetites, but by the Spirit. The truth is that maturity is not proven in the moments of emotional fire or dramatic signs. It is forged in the unremarkable days of routine and repetition. There is a holy weight in the ordinary that many miss because they are constantly chasing a feeling. I learned this the hard way, thinking that if I didn't feel the rush of excitement, God must have moved on. But heaven is drawn to steady obedience, not fleeting intensity. Anointed one, your faithfulness in the quiet rhythms, managing what you have, keeping your word when no one is watching, showing up for the daily work. This is what builds the foundation for sustained increase. True stability is found when you no longer need a sign to stay aligned. Chosen one, I want to speak directly to the weariness you may feel. Fatigue is not failure. It is simply the evidence that you have been carrying the weight of a promise for a long time. There is a unique exhaustion that comes from believing while the world is doubting, and from standing while the seasons are shifting. Do not let the enemy tell you that your tiredness is a sign of a weak spirit. Even the strongest vessel feels the pressure of the deep. God is not asking you to strive harder. He is asking you to remain. This waiting is not empty time. It is the shaping of the vessel. Heaven measures your endurance not by how fast you run, but by how firmly you stand when the movement is slow. Anointed one, do not rush this season of settling. Let the quiet refine you. Let the routine anchor you. The promise is not fading, it is rooting. When the next instruction finally comes, it will find you ready, not because you were busy, but because you were steady. Stay here in the stillness. Let patience finish its perfect work, for the journey ahead requires the strength that only this silence can produce. Anointed one, heaven is meticulously watching how you manage what no one else can see. There is a sacred law in the kingdom that declares faithfulness in the secret place is the only legal path to public influence. Before God entrusts you with a platform that the world can applaud, He first observes your stewardship in the shadows where there is no audience. I learned this through the crushing of my own ambition. I realized that if I could not honor God with a small rhythm when I was invisible, I would surely betray Him when I became visible. Chosen one, your private habits are the architectural blueprints of your future. How you plan in the dark, how you pray in the quiet, and how you manage the smallest increase determines whether your foundation is made of sand or of solid rock. In this season of growth, you must embrace the power of detached generosity. This is the art of giving without broadcasting, of sowing without seeking the harvest of human recognition. Anointed one, when you give and then rush to announce it, you trade a heavenly reward for a fleeting moment of ego. You invite distortion into the blessing, but when you give in secret, you protect your heart from the poison of pride and your seed from the rot of self-glory. True generosity is an act of worship, not a performance for the crowd. It is the evidence that money no longer owns you, but serves the God within you. By keeping your hands open in the dark, you prove to heaven that you can be trusted with the light. Understand this truth clearly. The silence you are experiencing is often a divine internal inspection. Before a builder adds more stories to a skyscraper, they must first inspect the integrity of the foundation. God is currently walking through the corridors of your character, checking the joints of your integrity and the pillars of your patience. He is not withholding wealth. He is ensuring that the weight of the wealth will not collapse the person carrying it. Chosen one, if the internal structure is weak, the external increase becomes a curse. This period of quiet is God's mercy, not His delay. He is reinforcing your spirit so that when the volume of provision increases, you will stand unshaken. Heaven is training you to hold peace without stimulation and to receive without needing the world's amen. This refinement is the final preparation for the weight of glory. Anointed one, do not resent the inspection. Do not fear the silence. It is in this stillness that the cracks are mended and the spirit is tempered. You are being shaped into a rare vessel, one that can hold immense power without losing its tenderness. Stay in the process. Let the master architect finish his work in the secret places of your heart, for what is built in silence will endure the greatest storms of the public eye. Anointed one, heaven is meticulously watching how you manage what no one else can see. There is a sacred law in the kingdom that declares faithfulness in the secret place is the only legal path to public influence. Before God entrusts you with a platform that the world can applaud, He first observes your stewardship in the shadows where there is no audience. I learned this through the crushing of my own ambition. I realized that if I could not honor God with a small rhythm when I was invisible, I would surely betray Him when I became visible. Chosen one, your private habits are the architectural blueprints of your future. How you plan in the dark, how you pray in the quiet, and how you manage the smallest increase determines whether your foundation is made of sand or of solid rock. In this season of growth, you must embrace the power of detached generosity. This is the art of giving without broadcasting, of sowing without seeking the harvest of human recognition. Anointed one, when you give and then rush to announce it, you trade a heavenly reward for a fleeting moment of ego. You invite distortion into the blessing, but when you give in secret, you protect your heart from the poison of pride and your seed from the rot of self-glory. True generosity is an act of worship, not a performance for the crowd. It is the evidence that money no longer owns you but serves the God within you. By keeping your hands open in the dark, you prove to heaven that you can be trusted with the light. Understand this truth clearly. The silence you are experiencing is often a divine internal inspection. Before a builder adds more stories to a skyscraper, they must first inspect the integrity of the foundation. God is currently walking through the corridors of your character, checking the joints of your integrity and the pillars of your patience. He is not withholding wealth. He is ensuring that the weight of the wealth will not collapse the person carrying it. Chosen one. If the internal structure is weak, the external increase becomes a curse. This period of quiet is God's mercy, not his delay. He is reinforcing your spirit so that when the volume of provision increases, you will stand unshaken. Heaven is training you to hold peace without stimulation and to receive without needing the world's approval. This refinement is the final preparation for the weight of glory. Anointed one, do not resent the inspection. Do not fear the silence. It is in this stillness that the cracks are mended and the spirit is tempered. You are being shaped into a rare vessel, one that can hold immense power without losing its tenderness. Stay in the process. Let the master architect finish his work in the secret places of your heart, for what is built in silence will endure the greatest storms of the public eye. Chosen one, as this process nears its completion, you will notice that your very conversation with heaven has undergone a radical change. The prayers of your past, once filled with the frantic cries for rescue and the desperate pleas for escape, have been replaced by a deep, resonant hunger for wisdom. Anointed one, this is the definitive sign of your readiness. I remember the moment my own prayers shifted. I stopped asking God to change my circumstances and started asking him to change my capacity. When you no longer seek the hand for what it can give, but seek the heart for how it thinks, you have moved from the level of a child to the rank of an heir. This transformation is the bridge between receiving a miracle and becoming a steward. The end result of this long walk through the silence is a state of holy regulation. You are no longer governed by the loud demands of lack or the frantic pulse of urgency. The world may be rushing, the markets may be shaking, and the opinions of men may be swirling, but you remain anchored in a steady, quiet confidence. This is the frequency of the kingdom. Anointed one, you have been recalibrated. You have learned how to sit with abundance without reacting to it emotionally, and how to carry influence without letting it become your identity. The desperate need to be seen has died, and in its place a powerful, silent authority has been born. You move now with the pace of a person who knows that what God has built cannot be unmade. Heaven is calling you one final time to remain grounded and let the quiet finish its divine work. Do not interrupt the ripening of your fruit with self-doubt or the need for external applause. The silence you are living in now is not a void. It is the laboratory of your greatness. Chosen one, you are being prepared for a future that will not shake you, because you have already been shaken in the secret place and found standing. The wealth that is coming is heavy, but because of this season you have the spiritual bone density to carry it. Stay aligned, stay receptive, stay still. The wait is nearly over, but the wisdom you have gained in the waiting will last for generations. You are not just entering a new season of money, you are entering a new dimension of being. Anointed one, keep your peace intact and your focus clean. The door is opening, but as you walk through, remember the power of the silence that brought you here. Let the world see the light of your harvest, while you keep the secret of the seed buried deep within your heart. The quiet has done its work, and now the future belongs to the wise. Chosen one, my heart is filled with profound gratitude for the time you have spent here leaning into this sacred frequency. By honoring this moment of stillness, you have already demonstrated the spiritual maturity required to carry the weight of what is coming. You have not just listened to a message, You have participated in a divine alignment. If these truths have resonated deep within your spirit, I invite you to seal this word by commenting, "I am ready," in the silence. Let this be your prophetic declaration to heaven that you have accepted the call to stewardship and wisdom. To continue this journey of transformation and stay anchored in your divine assignment, please subscribe to our community and turn on the notification bell. Your presence here is not a coincidence. It is a vital part of a collective awakening of the anointed. Chosen one, walk out into your day with your head held high and your lips sealed in wisdom. Let the world wonder at your peace while you rest in the certainty of God's timing. Thank you for your presence, for your faith, and for your trust. May the quiet finish its perfect work in you until we meet again in the next video. Stay grounded, stay chosen,